Hello and welcome to this introductory video which explains the review project and the materials produced for the project. My name is Dr. David McMenemy and I am part of the Information Studies subject at the University of Glasgow. The review project stands for Reinforcing Ethics and Values for Effective Advocacy for Libraries. The project was funded by CILIPS Research Fund in 2022 and the materials were produced in 2023. The aim is to enhance collective advocacy across the profession through an accessible framework for library and information ethics and values, presented as a set of continuing professional development tools, which include free training materials and infographics highlighting key library values. And the training materials include a literature review as well as a set of 10 videos. Further aims? Well, it's focused on the notion that our advocacy should begin by being clear about what the ethics and values supporting the profession are, how widespread understanding of them actually is, and how they can be positively disseminated by all within the collective workforce for a consistent and effective advocacy programme. The materials created for the project underpin library advocacy in Scotland by providing a professional development framework for the engagement with and dissemination of the ethics and values of the library profession. Now, a quote here from Lindsay and Prentice in 1985 in their book on library and information ethics. They said that the average person is highly unlikely to have given a second or even a first thought to the question of the professional ethics of librarians. Now, that being said, the ethical decisions made by library workers across the country and across the world every day impact on the lives of individuals, groups and wider society. So just a few examples here. Consider, for instance, attempts to restrict access to books via censorship challenges, or concerns related to excessive costs and restrictions to access of electronic books, or concerns related to the privacy of library users when using library services, especially digital services. And lastly, concerns related to how libraries organise knowledge, who, perhaps in doing so, reinforce out-of-date biases, hierarchies, or even stereotypes. So these are just a few examples of the kind of ethical dilemma faced by libraries all around the world, and they obviously are issues that can have a significant impact on practice. Now, Sturgis argues that this has been an increasingly prevalent issue over the last few years. He said that the library profession has changed from a predominant concern with technique, starting with topics like acquisitions and moving through cataloguing and conservation, to user education and beyond. Much more now towards engagement with a range of ethical issues such as intellectual property, user privacy, and serving the socially excluded. And these all have ethical dimensions that predominate, as we'll see through the course of the videos. Now, why do we need to concern ourselves with ethics when it comes to advocacy? Well, really, we need as full as possible an understanding of ethical values and how they apply in the field of library and information work if we are to be effective advocates for our services. And the reality is that out with those people fortunate enough to afford degree or master's level study of librarianship, there really is very little opportunity to engage with these concepts in a meaningful way. And even those who have gone through degree level study of the subject may not have actually engaged with these subjects. Obviously, we have professional journals and conferences where we may engage with them. But really, what we need is a set of resources that are freely available for everyone in the profession and those interested in libraries more generally to be able to access. And just a quote there from Wong and Tadaro. They say in libraries that frontline advocacy is everybody's job. And the idea behind the development of the materials for this project is to support that. Now, in terms of libraries, advocacy and ethics are very important, as I've said, and professional values form a significant part of the advocacy strategy of professions more generally. For example, in the case of CILIP, the ethical framework that all members adhere to forms a bond between the professional and the professional body to uphold, promote, and advocate for these values. Now, it's very important to remember that these are not passive concepts, and they entail both individual members of the profession and the professional body being proactive advocates of the values the profession represents. Now, in terms of outputs from the project, there'll be a literature review on ethics and values-driven advocacy in libraries, a set of 10 videos built on the literature review that represent key topics related to advocacy, as well as library and information ethical values, a set of infographics around the key library ethical themes, as well as a survey of the library workforce in Scotland to gauge their experiences of ethics-related issues that they face on a daily basis. Now, the literature review is quite extensive and it covers everything from what advocacy is, how the two techniques of rhetoric can be used to really increase the effectiveness of your advocacy, as well as ethical theories that are prevalent in wider society, as well as how these ethical theories have been adapted within librarianship itself. And the literature review finishes off with a guide on how you might advocate in certain contentious issues in library practice. Now, the videos themselves are built on the literature review, and there are 10 in total. So the first one discusses what advocacy is. The second deals with ethical theories and key ethical thinkers in libraries. The third explores CILIPS ethical framework and what this might mean in terms of your practice. The fourth video discusses ethics, privacy in libraries. The fifth video, freedom of expression in libraries. The sixth video covers ethics of information organisation. The seventh deals with intellectual property in libraries. The eighth video discusses some contemporary ethical concerns in library provision that people are facing. The ninth video discusses the survey that was undertaken for the project in terms of the experiences of the Scottish library workforce. And the last video summarises the content from the literature review that discusses how to do values-driven advocacy, using some specific examples that apply in practice. The material is made available under a Creative Commons licence, and just important to note, it is a non-commercial licence. I very much hope that you enjoy using the materials produced for the project. In terms of the videos themselves, they are designed to be standalone, so you don't need to have watched one video to watch another. So if there's any particular subject that you're interested in, then by all means just drop into that particular video or videos. I hope that the videos are useful in your own practice and in your own reflections on that practice. Thank you very much.